Hi everybody, welcome to the 4 to 5. Look who's here. Chad Silver, Lauren Coleman, yours truly. We got an hour ahead.
And it's a fun hour.
Yeah, it's a fun hour back to school, so lots to talk about. But thanks for joining us on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app.
And since it's the first day back for most students, we want to see your back to school pictures. Keep in mind, for safety reasons, please do not include where your child is going to school, but text us their photo to 336-379-5775, and we will air them throughout the show.
Largely speaking, day one went off without a hitch across the Triad. From pickup to drop off, there hasn't been any major transportation and safety issues reported.
Guilford County Acting Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley credits the preparation over the summer. She says safety is a huge priority and believes strong relationships with students play an important role.
My kid's first day is today, and safety is a huge priority for me. I know it is for all of our parents. We've spent the summer training. We know that relationships are the key when we're talking about school safety. We have some new things at our comprehensive high schools, the scanners when kids walk in. So there'll be a few changes, but mostly we're focused on what we know works, and that's building relationships with kids.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Superintendent Tricia McManus also wished students a warm welcome today. She spoke at North Forsyth High School this morning about new renovations happening in the district.
We have two big rocks that will be evident throughout the school year. One of those is around culture and climate, and so all of our schools are taking the time to just really focus on building relationships and implementing our new code of character, conduct, and support, which is really honestly about being restorative in our approach to working with our students and being inclusive versus exclusive within our practices. And so you'll see that as one of our major big rocks, as well as a focus on high quality instruction with a true emphasis on literacy.
And while educators are covering the classroom, police are keeping a close eye on the roads. Greensboro Police kicked off Operation School Watch today, focusing on the safety of students and faculty. It runs through next week. Officers are also reminding drivers of crosswalk safety. WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris is verifying the rules at the crosswalk.
Our sources are the Watch for Me NC organization, Officer A.D. Reed with the Greensboro Police Department's Safety Unit, and North Carolina's pedestrian laws, Statute 20-173 to 174. The laws vary slightly by state, but in North Carolina, it is clear. In places where traffic control signals are not in place or operating, the driver must yield the right of way to a pedestrian crossing the road as long as it's within any marked crosswalk or within any unmarked crosswalk at or near an intersection.
You're required by law as a operator of a motor vehicle, so a car, a motorcycle, an RV, whatever it may be, even a bicyclist who's traveling down the road, they have to stop and they have to let that person cross that crosswalk. They have to yield to the pedestrian.
Crosswalks don't all look the same. Marked crosswalks have two parallel white lines or a series of white blocks running across the street. Mid-block crosswalks are like the one in my photo, in the middle of a block, not an intersection. And unmarked crosswalks are whenever a sidewalk ends at an intersection and continues at the other side, implying an invisible crosswalk at the intersection. But what if the pedestrian is still waiting to cross the road at a crosswalk? Do cars have to yield? Yes.
If it's not safe for that person to step out in the road, they're going to be stuck on that sidewalk for a long time. So if they're on at the entrance to it, so on the sidewalk part, that's still considered part of the roadway itself.
So yes, we verified it is the law in North Carolina and many other states for drivers to yield to pedestrians at crosswalks, even if the crosswalk isn't at an intersection and even if the pedestrian is still waiting on the sidewalk to cross.
In addition to keeping students safe when crossing the street, we want to make sure students have the best year yet overall. I asked you on my Facebook page to give your best back to school advice. Nancy Crabtree wrote, "Take one day at a time and strive to do your best every day." Skip Ayer says, "There is no substitute for going to class." Virginia Hartzell says, "Don't let what others think get you down. Just be yourself." Brittany Wall says, "Stay focused, take plenty of notes. If you don't understand, ask questions, have fun." And then my high school English teacher, Mary Hayden, wrote, "Every adult in your school is there to support you. Teachers, counselors, secretaries, nurses, cafeteria workers, custodial staff. They are your support system. They chose to be there because they want to help students succeed. So be respectful and don't hesitate to ask for help or guidance. Remember to say thank you." Now that's some great
what
advice.
she said. Yeah, all of that. All of that. I did tell. So my kid. So it was Tyler. His first day of middle school. So Drew is in 4th grade, the same elementary school. It was nothing for her. She's like, Leslie goes, "Do you want me to walk you in?" She goes, "No." To go in.
I've got
Tyler,
this.
on the other hand, yeah, it was. He's just nerve-wracking when you go. I think the first day of middle school is harder than the first day of high school. At least it was for me.
Yeah, middle school is that in-between age where they're not grown, but they think they're grown. It's a difficult period.
It is.
I really like the advice, the one woman who you included in there, when she said, just be yourself.
Yes.
Because I think, a lot of us get caught up in what other people think about us. And it's easy for me to say, I get the same way sometimes, but oftentimes you just kind of have to be yourself, and who cares what other people think.
That's my biggest advice too, because I remember back in high school wanting to be accepted and wanting to be liked by others, but through the years I've realized that you determine your future. Your friends don't determine your future. The people you're trying to fit in with don't determine your future. And as I've gotten older, I get people who reach out to me on Facebook, people that I wanted to fit in with, and they're like, "I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. I'm so proud to see you, kind of take off and pursue your dreams." So it might sound cliche, but really stay true to yourself and your values. It's going to get you ahead in the long run.
I think I was telling Tyler, he was asking advice about that. So the key, I think, for middle school, high school, and really from there on out, is to be nice to everybody. Like, try not to go into the clique, because one of my friends, he used to call me, he said, you're the chameleon. You take off your hat and you're different with different groups, and I had friends in all the groups, whether it was the athletes or the band or whatever, all that. And I told him, I said, just be nice to everybody. You can't ever go wrong with that.
I was the same way. I like to call myself a floater. And some people might think that that's weird, like,
floater,
who are your friends? But why tie yourself down to one group of people? Why be in a box,
Right, yeah, that's some good advice there. All right, now that we are in the new school year, we're focusing on the stories that matter to families. Parents, let us know what's on your mind. Just text the word survey to 336-379-5775, and we'll respond with a link to our parent survey. We're also still collecting school supplies through our Tools for School drive. Put new supplies in donation boxes at Walmart stores. The supply drive runs through next Monday.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. We're approaching a week since an elderly woman disappeared in High Point. 81-year-old Hetty Dawkins was last seen on Wednesday. Today, law enforcement, family, and friends hit the streets again, desperate for clues. Officers returned to her neighborhood, searching yards and placing markers on mailboxes. Over the weekend, several volunteers formed their own search parties. Both Dawkins' family and police believe they will find her alive. Police ask everyone to keep an eye out and to call them if you see her. Right now, the Forsyth County EMS Division is mourning the loss of its chief. The agency announced Chief Darren Ziegler passed away on Friday. He worked with numerous EMS and agencies for 30 years, taking over as chief a little more than a year ago. The agency praised him for his work with innovating education and service throughout the department. Ziegler's funeral is set for this Wednesday. We also have an update on a wife of a Greensboro firefighter injured in a deadly crash. Tanya Merle spent weeks in the hospital after a crash killed her husband and 2 other people in July. Now, for the first time in 7 weeks, she is back at her home resting. The update posted to a Caring Bridge website tracking her progress says the transition has gone well, but she is still receiving care around the clock. The post emphasizes Merle sends her love and appreciation for everyone's support.
We're on the dry side today. That may change tomorrow, but it's kind of a seesaw forecast. We're getting close to, once you get in September, our forecast can be really hot one day and then cool the next. I mean, it jumps all over the place when we're trying to transition, with Mother Nature from summer into the winter. That fall can be a little fickle sometimes. But 85 degrees in Greensboro, 87 in High Point. Winston-Salem, you have a temperature of 89. We'll go 91 in Walnut Cove and 90 in Burlington. It is hot out there in spots. Mostly clear tonight, still be a little sticky and muggy. 69 for the low, 89 the high tomorrow, and the return of a late day thunderstorm. Not really seeing a whole lot of that now. You might see an isolated, very isolated sprinkle or 2 across the area, but I think for the most part we're in good shape. And if we go back out to a wider view here, you can see most of the unsettled weather remains to the south of us. So our forecast, if you look at the whole ball of wax here, the 7-day forecast, looking at 89 for tomorrow with that 50% chance of late day storms. We get a little dry Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, lower humidities in mid-80s. That is comfortable. Saturday, Sunday, only a 20% chance slips in. And by Labor Day for that weekend, you're looking at 84 degrees on Labor Day, and again, a 20% chance of an afternoon storm. You know, it is a Triad institution for pet lovers. We're talking about All Pets Considered in Greensboro. It's a mecca for those who love their animals and have been helping us for 30 years. Now, General Manager Allison Schwartz says it all started with the owner's vision for a new kind of pet store.
That's what's amazing is that back then, the normal pet store sold pets. You would go in and find dogs and cats and fish and reptiles and hamsters and everything else for sale. And they would have some supplies too. But her philosophy at that time was she wanted to open and partner together with rescue organizations and the community and not sell animals. She wanted to really encourage people to go to reputable breeders and to go and partner together with rescue organizations and encourage adoption. And in 92, I mean, that sounds a lot more commonplace now, but in 1992, that was groundbreaking.
And you know, 30 years, that's a long time for a small business to be successful, no matter what kind of business you have, especially if you throw that pandemic in there. So Schwartz says it's all about changing and evolving with the times.
The willingness to continue to evolve with what our customers want. We, for a while, used to offer kind of everything. We had everything from like fish tanks on up. And then we really kind of went to what customers really wanted. It went more dog and cat oriented. And then with the pandemic, the interesting thing is that we had people who really were getting into small animal ownership, things like guinea pigs and hamsters. So we expanded our small animal section again, and we've got a much larger small animal section that continues to grow. And so as customers have made mention of what they wanted, we've continued to evolve with what they want.
And she says that was the key for, and she thinks for any small business, it's just you have to listen to the customers. And to do something different and not sell animals, I know, I remember the first time I went into that store, I was looking to buy, I thought I was just gonna get a dog, and I go in there, no animals. Yeah, and then they're like, no, we're focused on the best quality products. She also says that they, as a team that work there, travel to the companies that sell whatever it is, and they go through a tour and they test it, and if they don't like it, they won't sell it.
That's pretty awesome. And like you said, that's the key, being able to adapt, being open to change and different ideas in order to, you know, continue to grow and stay in business. A lot of times some people don't want to do that, and we don't see them have 30 plus years of business success.
If you all had to get a pet, what would it be?
I want a miniature poodle. I said that last week. I want a miniature poodle. I think they're so cute. I definitely want a companion. It was on my vision board that I made last year. But you know, with inflation in times right now, you know, it's a lot of responsibility, but I do plan to get a dog.
You've mentioned that several times, so I know you're online for that. Well, as you'll see in my 2 cents, and I told Chad about this, I tried to get a pet pig for my family. Remember that?
I was waiting to hear about this.
You have to I'll just wait till my 2 cents. My prank on my wife completely backfired. If I'm talking about a pet that I want, I'm not ready yet, but eventually I do want to have a dog again. Ours passed away a few years back, and I think in another 4 or 5 I'll be ready again.
I want to get a really cool saltwater fish tank with just exotic fish all over the place.
Those are fun. I think they have the tanks now where like the food automatically spits out. Like it has a timer on it, so then you don't have to really worry about that part.
I'll have someone come in and clean the tank, so I don't have to do any of that either. I just want to look at them.
He wants to do nothing. We're coming right back. We've talked about our forecast, a little bit of a dry forecast for today, then a 50% chance of late day storms tomorrow, but our temperatures mid to upper 80s. We're pretty consistent all the way through the work week and into the weekend. So let's talk about the tropics here because it has been quiet so far, hasn't it? Not really all that active. We are approaching peak of the season, which will be in usually the first or second week rather in September is the peak. We're watching this particular system now, a lot of space between us and this storm. So a lot remains to be seen, but it is something that we are watching because right now it looks like that we may see this develop into a tropical system fairly soon. The storm will likely form and develop, if it happens at all, it'd be later this week in the work week. But there's a lot of dry air and then some wind flow that's not really conducive to growth, but it is something that we'll watch. There's just a low concern for the East Coast right now, and if you look at this storm and what the models are showing here, they're kind of in consistent agreement of it moving above Puerto Rico, but then after that they're all over the place. So we'll have to wait and see. There is a cold front coming off our coast, which may or may not help to steer that storm away from us. So we'll keep you posted. Again, as we mentioned, fairly dry for us right now, and you can see most of the unsettled weather is to the south. We'll have our 7-day forecast for you coming up in our next weather segment.
Pull up Facebook? You mean pull up microphones?
Pull up microphones.
We got Facebook here. Hi, Facebook.
Hi, people.
How's everybody doing today?
What'd you do this weekend, Chad?
I did some fun stuff. A group of friends and I, we grilled out on Saturday and watched college football and recreated the McRib.
Yo, like your own homemade version?
Uh-huh.
And?
It was really darn good.
I love rib.
Yep.
Rib anything.
Then yesterday helped one of my friends get his stuff in order for a passport. Because we're going on a big extravagant birthday celebration in March and we needed him to get a passport.
Time to get on board.
He had to go take a photo, get a money order, print the documents.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mine, I think, expires in 3 years.
Mine expires November, and I'm going on a trip, so I needed to get it renewed since it was expired within 6 months of the trip, so I did mine through the mail.
Okay.
So now I'm waiting for it.
That's
nice.
Back. I expedited
You're like
it.
every day, you're like,
yeah,
okay,
I know. I'm
let's
like
go.
checking the progress
Right.
online, and they're like, in process. I'm like, I need it now.
Right, yeah.
You know, my wife travels a lot for work, as you guys know, and I'm always complaining, going, oh yeah, you have to go to New Orleans for work, which she
Yes.
does, but
It's
she
so
does like
fun.
every other month. So finally she goes, well, do you want to go next time? And we'll just get a sitter with the kid. I was like, yes, I do, because I've never been.
Neither have I.
So I just
I
want to see it.
love New Orleans. I've been about 5-6 times, but I used to work in Hattiesburg, so that's like an
How
hour,
far? Oh.
hour and a half away.
Oh, wow.
All right, Facebook, we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Twitter is buzzing about new changes at Cookout. Think about the last time you had Cookout. Did you get your food in the traditional styrofoam tray, or maybe it was this colorful cardboard one. Freddie tweeted that he got this box when he had lunch at the cookout near Tanger Outlets in Mebane. Another person said they got the same box in Charlotte. Several people retweeted their feelings about the changes. One woman wrote, kind of drastically, "I think I am going to be sick." We reached out to Cookout to see whether the boxes will be replacing the trays, but we haven't heard back yet. Let us know if you've gotten the boxes in our Facebook comments. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the change.
I don't see that big
I don't
of
have a
a
strong
I
deal.
don't
opinion.
see an issue with it either. I went to Cookout about 2 weeks ago and I still got the styrofoam. So I don't know if the ones here have them yet.
You know what? Maybe they're using up what they have until they, you know what I mean? Like, why throw all that away?
Yeah.
So who knows?
My biggest gripe with Cookout is when they hand you your milkshake, there's always all the gunk on the outside of it, and then I just grab onto it and my hand's all sticky from melted ice cream.
You mean
That's
the
my
ice
biggest.
cream coming down the side?
Yes, that's my biggest
I
gripe.
just love it. I mean, as long as my food is still hot when I get home, I really don't care what kind of tray it comes in.
Yeah, we're seriously. That's what I said. I said this story proves that we're eating up with
Yeah.
minutia. This is what it says.
Yep.
I just want the cookie. I told you, my cook Chad doesn't know this story yet. My only gripe with cookie, I love their food, love the milkshakes.
Quesadilla.
I called, yes, the grilled chicken spicy sandwich. I called once and said, Cookout would do great in my hometown. I was like, how much is a franchise fee? And they're like, oh, we don't do that. They're all owned by the same. I said, oh, okay. She goes, where was that? I said, Mount Airy. 6 months later, opened in Mount Airy. I'm not lying. And the line was down the highway. And I was like, that could have been me.
So basically what you're saying is you deserve a piece of that cut.
Yes, please. You know what? I'll just give me a couple free milkshakes and I'll be good to go. Just something there. I missed out. All right, it's been pretty hot lately. Perfect weather for a milkshake, speaking of that. So I asked you on Facebook, what is your perfect shake here? How do you like that? So Larry said, pineapple banana from Cookout. Ooh, that sounds interesting there. Shayna says Oreo, but I also like a vanilla shake from McDonald's with an order of fries.
Dip them in there.
That's right. That's right. Fancy like. Candace says really thick chocolate shake, so thick you can't even use the straw at first.
So ice cream.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a Wendy's Frosty in the beginning. Donna said black walnut. Never had that one. That sounds good. Shirley says a peach shake from Chick-fil-A. I got to go with Shirley on that one. I like my shakes runnier. So I like to let them melt a little bit, and I almost would rather drink it than eat it with a spoon.
I like to be able to suck mine through a straw as well, but I've noticed with the Cookout shake, it's pretty much ice cream in a cup. It's really hard to suck it through a straw.
That's why they
Big
started
chunks.
the bigger straws.
Yes,
I
that's
still
right.
can't
Bigger
get it
straws
out.
now.
But what I like from Cookout, I like to mix the peanut butter fudge with the Reese's cup. I think that is just the best combination.
good.
If you're a peanut butter chocolate lover, you will love that.
I like pineapple shakes at Cookout.
I am really basic, and I just love a vanilla malt. Malts, I feel, are
I
a
like
very
that.
underappreciated addition to any sort of milkshake, but it's just like the malted milk mix.
Yes.
And it just is a whole new flavor. So vanilla malt. I don't care where it comes from, just give it to me.
And you almost have to go to a specialty place to get that, you know,
Right.
because you usually don't see that.
Yeah.
The first time I didn't understand what malt was, and when I was a kid, I liked Whoppers, you know, the kid malted milk.
Those, yes. My mom used to buy the carton
The box,
size
yes,
ones.
it looks like a milk carton.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
those.
and then that's when I started liking malted
Yeah.
milkshakes. It's so good. All right, let's take a break. Bring a shake here, please. We'll be
We're
right
hungry.
back.
All right, I am talking about when kids compare themselves, what parents do wrong and what they can get right.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Lauren Coleman, Eric Chilton, Chad Silber, and a cast of thousands in the newsroom.
A cast of thousands, and
Yes.
they are a rambunctious bunch.
They are. That's why we keep them in there.
Right.
Thanks for joining us on News 2 Fire Stick Roku and our News 2 app.
And since it's the first day back for most students, we want to see your back to school pictures. Text them to 336-379-5775 and we will air them throughout the show. Here's an important reminder though, don't include where they go to school for safety reasons.
Well, day one went off without a hitch across the Triad. As we said, from pickup to drop off, there hasn't been any major transportation and safety issues reported.
Guilford County Acting Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley credits the preparation that the preparation that they took over the summer. She says safety is a huge priority and believes strong relationships with students play an important role.
My kid's first day is today, and safety is a huge priority for me. I know it is for all of our parents. We've spent the summer training. We know that relationships are the key when we're talking about school safety. We have some new things at our comprehensive high schools, the scanners when kids walk in. So there'll be a few changes, but mostly we're focused on what we know works, and that's building relationships with kids.
And while educators are covering the classroom, police are keeping a close eye on the roads. Greensboro Police kicked off Operation School Watch today, focusing on the safety of students and faculty. It runs through next week.
Another important part of school safety is ensuring students' health. This week, Guilford County Schools is holding several clinics for last-minute immunization appointments. From now until September 1st, kids can get required vaccines and physicals at the health department in Greensboro and in High Point. They are open from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Call the number on your screen to make that appointment.
Oh, the feeling of going back to school is different for every student.
Yeah, students might feel a little pressure or maybe intimidation on that first day, and here to help work through those feelings is psychology expert Blanca Cobb. Blanca, why do kids compare themselves? They always seem to compare themselves to each other, to their classmates.
They do. You're right on the money on that one, and it can be a big head scratcher. But what we know developmentally, which has been theorized by psychologist Erik Erikson, is that everybody goes through psychosocial stages through life, from when you're born until you pass, until your death. So elementary age, around 7 to 11 years old, this is where children go through this developmental phase, industry versus inferiority. And so what happens here, this is where they're starting to get a sense of who they are and their place in the world as they compare to their peers. Who's better at sports? Who's better at school? Who reads more books? The list goes on and on about how kids compare themselves to others. And if a child does not feel like they match up to their peers, then they can feel bad about themselves, and it can lead to some self-esteem issues. Kids who feel like they are doing as well as others, then they tend not to have self-esteem issues.
Blanca, we know parents aren't perfect. What do well-intentioned parents get wrong when reassuring their kids?
A lot of times what happens is a parent might say, you know, you're the smartest, you're the best, and whatever they say doesn't leave room for any type of improvement. And that's where well-intentioned parents get it wrong. Because what we do know is that we're going to make mistakes and we can improve from those mistakes. Also, if parents seem to give their kids a lot of attention or high fives or kudos around success only, not effort, then kids start to evaluate and determine, okay, it's when I get an A, it's when I succeed, it's when I'm the captain of the team, and the list goes on of when I'm going to get mom or dad's love and attention. And that places unrealistic high standards on the children.
All right, so then let's kind of expand that a little bit and just say tips for parents when you are trying to help foster your kids' self-esteem.
You really want to focus on the effort. The outcome is important, absolutely, but also the effort. Do they struggle? Do they give up immediately, or do they persist? And then how are you helping them? Realize this, part of winning is losing. You've got to fail in order to succeed. Yeah, and you also have to balance that realism also, right? You know your children's strengths and their weaknesses, but if they have a weakness, you can continue to help them learn more skills. There's this great quote from Michael Jordan, who arguably is one of the best professional basketball players. So I'm going to paraphrase it for you. But he talked about, like, he missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He lost almost 300 games. 26 times he was trusted to make that winning shot, and he failed. And he failed over and over again. But my point of illustrating that is that failure can help spur success. If you give your child an opportunity, a skill set, and support, you will be amazed at what they can accomplish. So again, effort is just as important as outcome.
Blanca, one last quick question. As a psychology expert and as a parent, what's the biggest advice you give to your child on the first day?
on the first day is just really enjoy the day. Take it in, seeing old friends, meeting new friends, and then find out, well, my youngest is in high school, but looking at that syllabus and then, take it in stride and start planning for the semester in terms of due dates, because that's the biggest thing that will get a lot of kids.
Very true. Very
All right,
true.
Blanca, thanks so much for your expertise. Feel free to reach out to Blanca with any follow-up questions. Just search Blanca Cobb, body language expert, on Facebook. Well, now that we are in the new school year, we are focusing on the stories that matter to families. Parents, let us know what's on your mind. Just text the word survey to 336-379-5775, and we'll respond with a link to our parents' survey. We're still collecting school supplies through our Tools for School drive. Put new supplies in donation boxes at your Walmart store. The supply drive runs through next Monday.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. We are approaching a week since an elderly woman disappeared in High Point. 81-year-old Hetty Dawkins was last seen on Wednesday. Today, law enforcement, family, and friends hit the streets again, desperate for clues. Officers returned to her neighborhood, searching yards and placing markers on mailboxes. Over the weekend, several volunteers formed their own search parties. Both Dawkins' family and police believe they will find her alive. Police ask everyone to keep an eye out and call them if they see her. Greensboro drivers are now filling up their gas tanks for less. Gas Buddy reported a drop in the average cost per gallon. Right now, the average is $3.44, so that's down 6 cents from last week. While this is some great news, experts warn of a potential increase. Power outages caused by a Western refinery to shut down, which could impact pricing. Time left to order your free government COVID test is running out. The federal program ends this Friday. Officials say they don't have enough funding to continue this initiative. More than 600 million free COVID tests were distributed to date. The remaining stockpile is being held back until later this year in preparation of a new rise in infections. Liz Cheney announced she's considering a presidential run. She recently lost her current seat in Wyoming in the primary, but is considering a White House bid. However, several Republicans and local officials are skeptic and don't see her with a path to victory. Others also fear she would actually help former President Donald Trump if she runs.
We're learning more about documents seized from former President Trump's Florida home. A federal judge says a neutral party could examine the confiscated materials as early as this week. Plus, intelligence experts are working to determine whether the documents threaten national security.
The U.S. Justice Department faces a new deadline this week to provide more information about what documents were seized from former President Donald Trump's Florida residence. In a new court filing Monday, the DOJ said a team review identified a limited set of materials that potentially contain attorney-client privileged information and is going through normal procedures to address privilege disputes. Federal Judge Eileen Cannon in Florida has signaled she may appoint a special master or independent party to review the documents, though she's not yet made a final decision. Friday's release of the heavily redacted affidavit behind the search reveals of the 15 boxes returned to the National Archives in January, 67 documents were marked confidential, 92 marked secret, and another 25 marked top secret. The affidavit also indicated that some of the documents may have contained information from CIA spies or informants.
This is the most sensitive material of the United States intelligence community.
In response to requests from U.S. lawmakers, the Director of National Intelligence says her office plans to conduct a review to determine whether the former president's handling of classified material put national security at risk.
I did nothing wrong. They brought many FBI agents in, all right before the midterms.
The former president has come out swinging against the FBI search, and so have some of his most ardent supporters.
If there's a prosecution of Donald Trump for mishandling classified information after the Clinton debacle, there'll be riots in the streets.
Former Obama and George W. Bush White House officials have criticized Graham's comments as, quote, dangerous and inciting January 6th all over again.
Forecast is changing, it seems like, day to day here, with one day with no rain, the next day a decent chance, back to dry conditions again. That's going to be this week. Today was a dry day. Tomorrow we have about a 50% chance of a late day shower or storm. It's 90 in Burlington right now, Yanceyville at 91, Asheboro 87, Troy at 91, Pinehurst, beautiful down there, 87 degrees, 89 in High Point and Winston-Salem, Greensboro at 85. Across the region, a couple of light little sprinkles here or there, nothing major to speak of. You can see most of the activity is well to our south. south down into South Carolina, right in the middle of that state. For us, we remain muggy, a little sticky. Then this cold front will come in. That's our Tuesday afternoon time period that we could see a 50-50 shot of thunderstorms. But then lower humidity, and courtesy of that high and the cold front moving by, we have 2 or 3 days of very dry weather out there. Here's what the 7-day looks like. 89 tomorrow with a late day storm or 2, and then we're dry for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, between 85 and 87 for those 3 days. Even this weekend, only a 20% chance of a shower. That includes Labor Day as well, with highs in the mid-80s.
No doubt you've got these button batteries in your remotes, key fobs, even some toys have them. They're actually pretty dangerous for children, and new research shows they're injuring even more kids.
CBS's Trinity Chavez introduces us to a mother who lost her daughter and is now advocating for change to keep other children safe.
Trista Hamsmith says losing her 18-month-old daughter a year and a half ago is a forever healing process.
It's just learning to navigate, our new normal, because it's not just me that has taken on this advocacy, it's the family as a whole.
Their advocating is to prevent other families from heartbreak. Originally, doctors thought Reese had croup.
It was the following day we realized there was a button battery missing from a remote in our home. We rushed to the hospital, and within 30 minutes, they confirmed that she had in fact swallowed that battery.
Reese spent weeks in the hospital, had surgeries, and went into cardiac arrest 3 times.
Ultimately, this time we didn't get her back.
New research in the journal Pediatrics shows battery-related ER visits more than doubled from 2010 to 2019 compared to previous years.
The vast majority of these children were under the age of 6, and button batteries were the type of battery that was most frequently involved.
Button batteries can burn through a child's esophagus in as little as 2 hours, and the injury can progress even after removed. Mark Chandler is with Safe Kids Worldwide.
Keep button batteries and any devices that they power up and out of reach of children. Make sure that the battery compartment is secure.
Trista created Reese's Purpose to educate families. President Biden signed Reese's Law earlier this month, which establishes safety standards, including requiring child-resistant packaging and warning labels on products.
Knowing that 10 years down the road, we're not going to be hearing about these ingestions from a product because we did move forward. There's a little bit of comfort.
And she hopes sharing her story can save the lives of other children.
a day without rain, a day with a little bit of late day rain, a day without rain again. We're seesawing back and forth with rain chances over the next few days, but we do get a stretch of dry air coming in toward the middle and the end of this work week. We'll talk about that in a sec. 85 degrees in Greensboro. It's 89 in Reedsville. Let's look toward Burlington, beautiful country there, 90 degrees. Same reading in High Point, Winston-Salem 89, Mount Airy at 86. All right, hour by hour heading into the evening, we'll get to those 70s by about 9 o'clock. We think the overnight load takes us down to probably upper 60s, and that's usually about the time that you may be heading out to work or school tomorrow morning. Overall, though, when we look at this, and we'll show you what's happening with the radar, it's just not a lot, right? There's not a lot of activity going on. We see some cloud cover down toward Troy, maybe up to Lee County and Sanford and Wake County for Raleigh, but overall, we're in good shape. So take the rain out for today, but that is not the case heading into your Tuesday. That is a 50% chance of showers and storms, mostly late day with a high of 89 tomorrow, kind of a hot one. 87 Wednesday, but look at that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, very rarely do you see rain chances out. Mid-80s all the way through the weekend with very slight rain chances Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
The MTV Video Music Awards showcased several new artists and some old favorites. Last night's show was in Newark, New Jersey. Here's a recap.
To kick off the 2022 MTV VMAs, it was a throwback to 2006. Fergie starting the show with her hit Glamorous, sampled this year by rapper Jack Harlow. Harlow's song First Class won the award for Song of the Summer.
Thank you to Fergie for coming out with me tonight and clearing this song.
It was a night packed with big performances from Lizzo to Eminem and Snoop Dogg in the metaverse to Artist of the Year winner Bad Bunny performing at Yankee Stadium. After the verdict in his defamation trial, Johnny Depp appeared several times as MTV's iconic Moon Man, saying he needs the work.
I just want you guys to know that I'm available for birthdays, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, wakes, any old thing you need.
As for the big wins, Taylor Swift took the top prize, Video of the Year, for All Too Well, the short film, and she shared some news with fans.
I thought it might be a fun moment to tell you that my brand new album comes out October 21st.
And Harry Styles will bring home the Album of the Year award back to Harry's house. He accepted from his concert stage in New York.
I would like to say thank you to all of my fans who voted. Thank you so much.
Madonna was nominated for her recent album, her 69th VMA nomination. She's the only artist nominated in each of the VMA's 5 decades.
69,
Wow,
all
that's
hail the
crazy.
queen. That's a lot of nominations.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know that they pay attention to music videos anymore. It just doesn't.
I'm kind of surprised they still have the
Me
VMAs.
too.
Yeah.
You know, music is one thing, but like music, like video music, I mean,
They're not as big as they used to be, like in
No.
the 90s and early
Right.
2000s. Like, it was a thing to have the best music video. A lot of days you get people with a white background and some motorcycles and just some dancers,
Yeah,
you know, on the
that's
side. While they're in the center, it's not like how it used to be.
but you know what? Props for these artists for, you know, even though not many people take stock in music. I'm not music, but like the music videos.
Yeah, the videos.
They're still making them, and it costs a lot of money to do that. So, I mean, for the people who are really big fans and love when those music videos come out, I mean, props to the
I
artists.
mean, in the 80s, it was the thing, because that
Right.
was when it
Yeah.
started, when I was in high school.
MTV, music video,
Oh, yeah.
television, but now it's like reality television. It's not really about
Don't
music
even
videos.
play it anymore.
All right, that's it.
That's it, we're out for
That's
a
all
little
she
bit.
wrote. Here's some more kids going back to
Hello, 123-456, 12345, 678-910.
Hey, buddy. Miking the check, checking the mic. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Yes, sir.
Edge, 1 2 3. Push them over the edge. This summer, push them over the edge.
Police were in this neighborhood earlier today, passing out flyers and checking backyards for 81-year-old Hetty Dawkins.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about what I planned to prank my wife over the weekend. We'll tell you how it turned out. So, all my life and the whole time we've been together, I always told her one day I want a pet pig. Love pigs, want a pet pig. So I decided to play a joke on her. Sunday morning, I drove to a friend of mine that has a farm animal rescue company called Sweet Samson Farm Animal Rescue. So I went there because they had 8-week-old piglets. Cute as they could be. So before my wife got up, I go there, I pick up the piglet as a joke to bring back, and I had my oldest son that was there at the house at the time, Alex, record Leslie's reaction when I bring in a pig, supposedly to stay.
Oh my God.
So I walk in, the 2 little ones were in on it too. They knew what was happening, but they act surprised. And I said, Leslie, look, and they brought back. She goes, oh my God. So I expected her to go, have you lost your ever-loving mind? And then I'd have it all on video, and I was going to show it on the 4 to 5 today. No, she goes, look how cute. And the thing was cute, I have to admit. I mean, we'll show you some pictures now. Little waggy tail and sleeping on my daughter's lap. I mean, adorable, adorable. But my wife is all over it, like, this the cutest little, oh my goodness. And then as the day went on, I was the one that wanted to keep the pig, and she said no. Completely backfired on so many levels. She wins once again. End of story. It's the way my life works. But that is the cutest little pig. I mean, please. That little face, it was all I could do not to keep that thing. I might have to do it again, and this time I'll have a flat tire and can't take it back. But that's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.